Welcome to UC Blue, the Blubrry Video Podcast. In this episode of UC Blue, we're going to give you a look at the Blubrry Flash pop-up player that is integrated into the Blubrry website and can also be on your site if you are a podcaster who is a member of the Blubrry community. Let's just take a quick look at the player by starting off on the blubrry.com homepage. We're going to take a look at some of the most recent podcasts. How about the Raider Nation podcast? And you'll notice that next to every podcast, you will see a listen button. And this listen button will open that pop-up Flash player. So let's click listen. And then you should see the player pop up. And depending on whether the particular podcast is audio or video, you will either see the audio player, the Flash audio player, down here in the lower left portion of the window, or if it's a video podcast, and we'll take a look at a video podcast in a second, you would see the video in the section on the left here where we place the RSS feed icon that podcast has submitted to Blubrry. So for an audio podcast, what you'll see at the very top is the name of the podcast. Below that is the name of the show, and you can actually click on the link to that show, and that will take you to the Blubrry page for that show. We then see the branding for the podcast, and we think it's very important that each individual podcast has their branding in the player. The audio player is at the bottom left. On the right side, what we show initially is the most recent episode for the podcast, including show notes. If I want to see and play previous episodes, I click the Browse All Episodes button. When I click that button, I can then browse through a number of previous episodes. I can then even scroll to see episodes that were produced earlier. When I click on that episode for the podcast, it should open and start playing the media immediately. Now let's take a look at a video podcast. Goodnight Burbank is one of the most well-known video podcasts that you can find anywhere, and they're on Blubrry. And we're going to use Goodnight Burbank's profile page to show you how the podcast Flash Player from Blubrry works on a profile page. So we're at the profile, and you can see that on the profile page we have a couple different ways we can listen or play podcasts. At the top left, the listen button will launch the pop-up player, or we can go to a particular episode. For example, if I want to see the Goodnight Burbank Christmas Party as the first thing in the player, I can simply go to the listen button, click on that, and the player pops up. So we're going to pause that, and you can see the difference between the video player and the audio player. On the video player, the video will begin playing in the left side of the screen where the avatar or the feed image for the previous podcast that we looked at, Raider Nation podcast, was. And on the right side, we still have the show notes telling us this is a special Christmas party episode, and then we can also click Browse All Episodes to go to previous episodes and play those. And we can click on this one, and that will start. And that will start playing. Now, one thing that I should note, especially with video, there are circumstances where the video that is linked in the enclosure might not start streaming right away, and that is typically a function of one or of a couple of things. Number one, it might be an issue with the web host not being able to serve up that much bandwidth at that time, or it could be an issue with the file. If the file isn't encoded properly, it will not stream. What it will do is it will start downloading to your computer, and it might not start playing until a certain amount of it has been downloaded. Good video podcasts are ones that will stream like this one with Goodnight Burbank as soon as it gets into the browser and start playing almost immediately after you pop up the player. So those are two examples, one audio and one video for the podcast player. Next thing I want to do is show you how you can get the code as a Blubrry podcaster to put this pop-up player, put a link to this pop-up player on your website. Okay, so through the magic of the pause button on Camtasia, I have signed out of my admin account on Blubrry and signed in to my podcast account on Blubrry. So if you're a podcaster who has your podcast as a member of the Blubrry community, you should sign in first off, and then once you sign in, you'll see this dashboard that gives you some different options, and I want you to go to Edit Your Podcast. When you click on Edit Your Podcast, you will see the podcasts that you have listed within the Blubrry community, and I have two podcasts, the New York Minute Show audio and the New York Minute Show video. So if I want to get the code for my particular player, I can go into Blubrry Member Perks. And in the Blubrry Member Perks section, you will find the code for these different Blubrry Player buttons. And all you need to do in order to get these working for you is simply select in the box, copy this code, and paste it into your website anywhere you want. And once you do that, people will be able to click on the appropriate button, and it should pop open the player as it's done here.
Minute Show number 60.
And once again, we have the show notes, we have the branding, and we have the ability to access previous episodes. And one thing I want to point out,
New York Minute Show,
is you can see that we've taken the feed show notes as you've written them and put them in here. I include Technorati tags. I include a link back to my website. All of that is here. So consider that when you're making up your show notes for your podcasts on your website. So I want to close this now, and then I want to show you how I've implemented this on my website over at NewYorkMinuteShow.com. And we're going to go there right now. Now, you have a couple of different options for integrating the link to the Blubrry pop-up player on your website. One way to do this is to actually embed the one of the images in each of your posts. So if someone shows up at a post and you want them to be able to play the latest post in a pop-up player, you can select the image link,
New York Minute Show,
and the player opens up. So that's one way to do it. And one thing that I also do is I actually put the image links to the player in my sidebar. And you'll notice that I have a listen with the Blubrry.com player and a watch with the Blubrry.com player because I have two separate feeds. And I make sure that there's a tooltip there that tells people open Blubrry Player when they mouse over it. And when they click on it, they should see my video podcast. Again, we've got the show notes there, and that allows people to get more info about the episode while they consume, which we think is only something that can help your podcast. They have the access to the other episodes, and we're going to close that. Now, we've had some questions recently about this player, people asking if they can use an alternate image. Absolutely. You can use an alternate image to link to if that works for you. All that we ask is that if you plan on using any of the logos from Blubrry in that image that you get with Brian, our creative director at creative@rawvoice.com, and let him know, and he will work with you and he will help you out. So that is our UC Blue video podcast for this week on the Blubrry.com Flash Player. If you have any questions, come over to Blubrry.com and you can fill out the contact form and let us know what your questions are on Blubrry. And as always, you can find us on MySpace at myspace.com/Blubrry Podcasting, and you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/UC Blue. This has been UC Blue, the Blubrry Video Podcast. Thanks for watching.